The two paramedics who are charged in the death of Elijah McClain took the stand in their own trial today.
McClain was stopped by police in 2019. Officers put the 23-year-old in a carotid hold, applying pressure to both sides of his neck.
Paramedics then injected him with the sedative ketamine. Those paramedics, Peter Cichuniec and Jeremy Cooper, are now on trial.
Denver 7 reporter and attorney Jessica Crawford joins us with more on what happened in court today. Jessica.
All right, so this is the third and final trial in the death of Elijah McClain. Medical experts have testified in previous trials that he was given a higher dose of ketamine than was recommended for his size. The prescribed dosage is 5 milligrams of ketamine per kilogram of body weight. Paramedics gave him about 500 milligrams. Well, today, paramedic Cichuniec testified that paramedics with Aurora Fire Rescue were trained that ketamine was a safe drug that would not kill patients. He also said ketamine was the only treatment for patients showing signs of excited delirium, according to department protocols.
What concerns did you have about Mr. McClain's well-being?
With his signs and symptoms, it appeared that he was suffering from excited delirium.
What was the treatment that you were to provide in the face of what appeared to be excited delirium?
The only treatment we can do is ketamine.
And then he starts going crazy.
Prosecutors questioned how the paramedics could know McClain was experiencing excited delirium if they weren't interacting with him. The paramedics testified that Aurora Fire's policy at the time said police had control of the scene and they could only treat patients once police removed handcuffs.
What point do you as AFR take control of the patient?
Back in 2019, we had no policy in place. It was always said once they come out of handcuffs, then they're our patient. Until then, APD, it is their scene. It is they're in control.
We needed to go ahead and get those cuffs off of him. So I asked if they can kind of position him to get those cuffs off. I was told no, that's not what they were going to do.
How does that impact what you can do?
Well, it delays when I need to get done.
The two paramedics face reckless manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide and assault charges. Their trial will continue tomorrow morning at 9.
And Jessica, as we watch that video, it's unusual to see defendants actually take the stand.
Yeah, we got to hear a lot from their own mouths today. And first, the reason why they don't do that very often is because they don't have to. The Fifth Amendment of the Constitution protects criminal defendants from having to testify if they may incriminate themselves through that testimony. They'll usually only testify if there is a strategy behind it. For example, Aurora police officer Nathan Woodyard testified in his own defense. He was the one accused of putting McClain in that carotid hold. Well, the theme throughout that trial, though, was that the hold didn't end McClain's life and that the ketamine did. Woodyard was then acquitted. Well, in today's situation, the paramedics are trying to send home the message that police had control of the scene and they were just following their training. And it appears that they're hoping to establish some trust with the jury along the way. This testimony is very high stakes, though, and depending on how the jury takes it, it really could make or break the case.
Mm-hmm. So interesting. Thank you so much for your insight. And going in depth, Elijah McClain's death has shed light on excited delirium and the use of ketamine. The term is used to describe someone who suddenly acts agitated, irrational, and dangerous. A number of medical associations have taken an opposing stand on excited delirium. Most recently, the American College of Emergency Physicians and the National Association of Medical Examiners released statements earlier this year rejecting the term. Similarly, the American Medical Association rejected it as a medical diagnosis and warns against the use of drugs such as ketamine without a medical reason. The American Psychiatric Association released a similar statement. Find gavel-to-gavel coverage on Denver7.com/Elijah McClain. We have 360 in-depth coverage, including a deep dive into the use of ketamine, a timeline of events, and Aurora's settlement with the McClain family.